Hey guys. Okay, so it is a minute early. I was late yesterday, but I was early today. So I'm going to give it just a couple minutes to kind of let people catch up. And then today we're going to go over how to make that calendar at a glance page that everybody had questions about. So give me just a minute while we're waiting for people to come in. I'm going to try to share this link out for in just a couple places. I'm going to get some things set up, and then as people roll in, then we'll get started, okay? Like I said, I was early today, but I also was kind of running behind when I left the gym, so I'm still in my gym gear. Hope you guys don't mind. Okay, here we go. I know I have at least a couple people coming because some of you guys already sent me messages and said, I'm excited to come. So that's pretty cool. I wish I could do this stuff before we were live, but like Facebook won't let me do that until we're live. So then I have to share them with you guys, but you guys don't mind, right? Like, we can just hang out while we do this. All right. What's the weather like where you guys are? Go ahead and tell me where you're coming from and what the weather looks like wherever you're hailing from. Okay, I've got that. And hey, Gina, if you're on here, if you can share it, do you want to share it with our friends in Bullet Journal Junkies and see if they want to come? Some of them may want to come watch. I think that's allowed in that group. I hope it is. I hope I wouldn't be upsetting anybody. But anyway, okay. So I know I've got Gina, and I know that Amy was planning on coming, so she'll probably be in a minute. And I'm getting things kind of all set up here. I really resisted the temptation yesterday to get started on some more pages in here. I really wanted to start, but I wanted to wait for you guys. So I didn't change anything. I didn't do anything. I just set it aside and said, I'll do it with you guys live. But I wanted so badly to get some things set up, but I didn't. I was good. I resisted the temptation. So, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you're just now joining us, this is day 3 of Plan-vember. So I'm setting up my 2018 journal, my planning journal, and it's more or less this year, at least for this particular journal, I'm more or less going to be following the bullet journal system with a few changes to make it a little bit more accommodating for my lifestyle. So I'm setting up every page of my journal to get it set up for 2018, and I'm going to let you guys kind of come along for the ride. And I want to do this live because sometimes when you see videos on YouTube, people have fast forwarded, they've cut things out, and you don't necessarily get a clear picture of what's actually happening and what people are actually doing on the page, how long it takes, any mistakes that they have. So, oh, hi Amy. Yeah, I love this Bose. I love this speaker. It's great to have in my office. I can listen to whatever I want when I'm working, which is kind of the cool thing about working from home. You know, I don't have any cubicle mates that can get mad at me for my music, so it's kind of fun. Okay, so I hear my little guy out there getting mad about something. Hopefully he's going to cooperate. I have him all set up with a puzzle and a snack, and I think he'll be good for the time that we're doing this, but we'll see. So, okay, let me go ahead and get us set up. I'm just going to move my tripod around here so that you guys can actually see what's happening. So, okay, I think we're good. Right? I wish I could have, 4 or 5 phones like pointing at the same thing so you guys could actually see what's happening all the time, but I can't. This is just what we have. So, okay, so let's get started. So this is what we worked on yesterday. I just created a little bit of a doodle dashboard for the opening page of my journal just because it gives me a great way to segue into the year, gets me in the mood to journal. My word last year was simple, and this year my word is gratitude because it was just a really good year for our family, and we have a lot to be thankful for, and I want to make sure that we don't lose sight of that. So that's my word for this year, which I think is a great theme to carry in through the year. So the next thing I'm going to be working on is this year at a glance page, which I've pulled out some of my old journals so you guys can kind of see. This was my first journal of 2017, and you can see I've got my year at a glance here all copied out, and then halfway through the year I had to move to another journal, and I just photocopied this one and pasted it right in here, which saved me a lot of time. I know a lot of people like copying things by hand. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I change the format and I like copying things by hand into my journal. That's part of the process. But sometimes it feels like a waste of time. So in this case, I was still in the middle of 2017. There was no reason to recopy it, so I just photocopied it and pasted it in here. So these are the exact same page if you look at them. I happen to have some beige dot grid paper that I occasionally will paste into my journal if I need to cover up a page, and that's very handy to have. I think I ordered it on Amazon. Anyway, when I post these on the blog, when I post this video on the blog, I'll make sure that I link to that because I think it's handy to have. And that's what I did with this. I printed it on beige dot grid paper and then just pasted it into the journal. But, so that's what we're going to make, because for some reason this page gives people fits. I actually get a lot of emails from people going, I tried to do the year at a glance that everyone has, and mine came out all wonky and the spaces are all off and I ran out of rows and I don't know what I did wrong. So it's not a very difficult page to make, but it does require some counting and some planning. So I'll go ahead and show you how I'm going to do it. And for this, I'm actually going to be using my journal from my current journal, because in my current journal, which I only started a couple months ago, maybe, I actually created a 2018 calendar in it because there wasn't enough of 2017 left, I felt like. So I created a 2018. So this is essentially what we're going to be creating. However, I'm moving to a different brand of journal. So this one is a Rhodia Goal Book, which I love, by the way. I got it at JB Welley, and last I heard they were sold out, but I got an email from John at JB Welley, and he said they're expecting a new shipment. But this was a really awesome book because it's kind of poised for bullet journaling. It's got, you know, calendars pre-printed, planning pages pre-printed in the front, index, page numbers, and then it's got that famous Claire Fontaine paper, which I've really loved using this, but I'm anticipating I'm going to run out by the end of the year. So I'm moving to a Scribbles That Matter, which I haven't used yet, and I'm excited to get into one and kind of take it for a spin. So here we go. The challenge, of course, when I'm moving to a new journal that I'm unfamiliar with, is that I don't know how many squares this one has. This one worked out great, but I actually waited. I didn't do any of this planning ahead of time. But I'm going to go ahead and count this with you guys, and we'll see if it works out. So here we go. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I like to have a page in my journal somewhere where I've counted out and actually numbered the number of boxes that are on each page. So I did that in this journal, and I just kept it in the back. And this comes in handy because no matter how many times I count, I can't remember how many boxes there are on each page. So I went ahead and numbered this out so I can glance back and reference it and know that if there are 40 boxes, if it's 40 boxes tall, then, you know, 20 or 21, that row is going to be my center row. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the back of this one and do that right now. And I don't know how many are in this journal, but we're about to find out. So I've saved this page for important addresses, but these numbers aren't really going to get in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and put them on that page anyway. So, and all I'm doing is numbering the boxes, not the dots, but the actual boxes. I just find that more useful. Some people will try to count the number of dots and do their alignment that way. If that works for you, great. It doesn't work for me. I end up not knowing if the box is supposed to go before the dot or after the dot, or anyway, so it just works better for me if I pay attention to the number of boxes. Okay. Okay, and I'm not going to count this last one because that's the gutter row. So I'm not going to count that one. So I've got 26 wide, which is, I think, a little bit more narrow. So this one was 27. So I lost one row there, which is okay. All right. I have a feeling this one's going to be, it's going to have fewer boxes. It just looks like it. All right, that's 30, 31, 32. Okay, so I have 37. I'll make sure I didn't miss any that I can count properly. Yep. Okay, so I have 37 vertically and 26 horizontally. So I have fewer boxes to work with this time, which is going to change a couple of things, and it just means I need to pay attention to that when I'm creating my page designs, which is okay. So I've got 26 wide and 37 high. And I'm just gonna write that down on this little post-it because we're gonna be doing some counting to get this page centered. Okay, and you can kind of eyeball it sometimes. You don't really have to count out every single page, but these are those pages that are right at the beginning of your journal. And if you guys are like me, when you first open a brand new journal, you just want things to look nice. You just want it to be right. So Gina says she always messes up when she counts dots. Yeah, see? I'm telling you, dots will lead you astray. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Okay, so the first thing I need to do here, oops, sorry, I'm bumping you guys. Everyone okay? No one's dizzy? 962 squares. Amy, there are 962 squares on your page? What journal are you using? Please tell me what journal you're using. That's amazing. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is figure out where my center point is. Now, before I start, I should tell you guys, I'm using a Sunday start on my calendars. So if you live in the United States, I think Canada does it the same way as us, but we typically print our calendars with a Sunday start. If you live in Europe or pretty much anywhere else in the world, it seems like everybody else uses a Monday start. So keep that in mind as you're watching me do this, is that depending on whether you're using a Sunday start or a Monday start, that may change the way that your dates flow through the calendar. So you can look on your phone or on your computer if you just need a visual of the calendar for the year, but you know, I just happen to have this one already, so I'm gonna go ahead and use what I have. So if I count up, I know that since I'm going to continue with a Sunday start, I'm going to count up the minimum number of rows that I'm going to need to make this happen. So I would like to leave two rows of space for a little bit of a monthly header. So in this particular version, I used 3, but since I know that I'm working with fewer squares in this journal, I'm going to go ahead and shrink that down. I think that's an easy place where I can save myself some space and not have to run out of room for my actual calendar dates, which those are the most important. So I know that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't forget to count your row that has your actual days of the week in it. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So I actually have 26 rows that I have to have in order to get my days of the week and dates. Now I know that I want at least 2 rows for each header, so I'm going to add, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of calendar dates. So I'm going to go ahead and add 4 times 2, which is 8. So I'm going to go ahead and add 8 to that, and math in public, 26 plus 8 is 34. So I know that I need a minimum of 34 rows in order to make this work in this new journal, which is good because this journal has 37. So I actually have a few rows to spare, which is great. So let's see, Amy said she used a Moleskine line and can't wait to get a new journal. She started, oh yeah, I like the Moleskine lines actually when I'm gonna be writing out by hand, like a lot of things by hand. For some reason, if I'm writing longhand on these dots, it doesn't work as well. But for planning pages, dots work really, really well. I'm really happy with it. So, okay. So I know that I need at least 34 high. And then for the width, I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which we know because there's 7 days in a week. I'm going to go ahead and add this space. I'm going to count that because I need at least one column of space between my months to make them not flow together and look too mushed. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So, and if you guys are better at math than I am, then you know that 7 times 3 is 21, right? And then you add 2 more, so you end up with 23. So we know that we need 23 columns wide to make this work. And that's good because we have 26 to work with. So we're good. We're in good shape. This page will fit on this one. So I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. When I created this page, I started at the top and worked my way down and then ended up having to squeeze my header at the bottom, which wasn't a problem. I made it work and I didn't stress about it. But this time because I'm shorter on space, I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. And hopefully I'll have a line or two at the top that I can kind of improvise a little bit of a header here. So that's what I'm going to do. So my longest month at the bottom of the page is going to be December because December has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of dates in it. So that's what I'm basing my spacing on is this December one. So I'll go ahead and count. So I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to need 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is where my days of the week are going to go. And I'm just going to mark that. Let me count it again because I always count wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is 7. So this is where my days of the week are going to go, right in here, in this row, right here. And then I'm going to center based on this Wednesday of my center month. So that's going to be where I'm going to center everything. If you're working with a Monday start, you're going to need to center off of Thursday because your Sunday is going to be over on the other side. So keep that in mind. Okay, now I need to find the center of this page, which I think is right about here. And to me, that looks close enough. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's good. This is going to be my center one right here. So I'm going to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's going to be my Wednesday. Okay, so I've marked that with my Wednesday W, which based on that, this is going to make everything so much easier because then I can go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. Okay, so I've got my first week, and then I'm going to skip one column, and I'm going to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. That's my Saturday, and Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and there's my Sunday. Okay, so I've got my first row created, and then I'm just going to go ahead and mark these off with some lines just because I like to separate them just a little bit. Okay, from the dates. There we go. Oops, I got that one a little bit crooked because I moved my ruler, but that's okay. We won't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Life's not perfect. Okay, so I've got my my bottom row created now, and that makes everything down here a whole heck of a lot easier now that I've got these centered. So I can go ahead and do my dates. And you kind of have to write small to fit them in these little boxes, but you know, it's just big enough you can read it basically. 31. So that worked out perfectly. Our December month ended up right at the bottom, at the very bottom row. So, and then I can go ahead and finish out this bottom row. So really this goes pretty fast. Once you get the alignment down, it goes pretty fast. Then you're just numbering. I know there are a couple of companies now that make these stamps for this, or stickers. I saw some stickers on Amazon the other day that were little calendar stickers, and I thought that would come in handy. And I wouldn't mind doing this that way. Okay, so that's good. Ends on a Friday. So I got all that sorted out. That's my November. Can you guys hear my son yelling at the cat? He's scolding the cat for something. I don't know what he's scolding her for, but he's... Okay, I'm almost done with this row. Oops, see, I kind of went crooked there. I don't know what I did there. We'll just squeeze it in there. Yeah, that's fine. I just got a little bit carried away with my numbers. I went a little crooked. Okay, so that's my bottom row. So we're all set there. So you can see that I had to look from December because December was a little lower than the others, but that worked out really well. And then I'm gonna leave 2 spaces here, and then I'm gonna start my next one right up here. And September is my lowest month on this row. It's the longest one. So I'm gonna do my spacing based off of September. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm gonna leave 2 spaces, and then I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will be where I go. I left 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this makes it a little easier because I can actually just line up based off of whatever I did below. I don't have to measure out my Wednesdays anymore. Okay, that's that. And I skip one here, line up here. Does that make sense? You guys got that? A5. Amy, yeah, I actually usually use an A5 just because for me it's big enough that I can write in it, but small enough that I can toss it in my purse. I carry a really big purse. So that's typically what I use. I know other people, if they're working at a desk all day and they use their journal at a desk, they might prefer a B5 or even maybe an A4, which is huge for me, but people who work at a desk and they need the space to be able to create big trackers, and especially people who work with clients, sometimes they like having a big page for each client, then that works better for them. I think if Gina's in here, I think Gina uses an A4. Gina, do you use an A4? She'll probably comment down here below. I bet she's in here still. Anyway, Gina is awesome. I work with Gina, and she, I think, uses an A4. Okay, here we go. So I've got my next one done. And then I can go ahead and number. And then at the very end, I'm gonna go back and do my headers because I don't know how they're gonna fit in here. I'm not gonna have as much space for them, so I'll just go back and do those at the end, and I can decide on a style based on how much space I have. Headers are just an easy place to save space because they're so adaptable. They don't need to look a certain way. Which is why you always want to start with the function of a page and then go back and add the illustration or the decoration if you're going to do that. That's my opinion. I think you should start with the function and then add embellishments later. I know for some people, their journal is basically an art journal, and the whole point of it for them is the art. And that's okay. If that's you, then you don't need to worry as much about the structure because you're more about expressing yourself, and that's okay. Just for me, I need it to also be functional. And see, this is where I'm sure you guys would love to have me fast forward so you didn't have to watch me number all these. But again, now you'll have a real idea of how long this page is going to take you. I think sometimes people get frustrated when they can't put together a page in, you know, 5 minutes flat the way somebody on YouTube did, but they had the magic of, you know, video editing on their side. Okay, 27, 28, 29, that's 30, and 31 for August. And then September will start on a Saturday. Now, somebody asked me yesterday, I got a question where someone was like, why don't you just use like a pull-out page for some of these pages that you're going to use more frequently? Let's say my address pages. Probably my important addresses aren't going to change that often. Well, I guess mine do because it seems like everybody I know moves really often. But for most people, those don't change that frequently. So then you could create the page and just stick it at the back of your journal, and then move it from journal to journal. Or you could use some kind of a binder system where you can move those with you. I don't do well with like disc bound or ring bound systems. They just don't work well for me. So I end up using a bound journal, and it's worth it for me to actually move things over by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this particular row, I only need 6 spaces because the months just happen to be a little bit more squished based on the start dates. So I only need 6. So I'm going to skip 2. I'll skip 2 and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's that. All right. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do the actual month headers with you guys today while I'm on with everybody, so you can actually see the finished page when we're done. And this time, and this one I used kind of a grayscale, like I just did it in gray. But I think this time I'm actually going to color it just to have a little bit more fun with it. I don't know why I keep getting this last one crooked. I can't hold my hand straight. But that's okay. I think it has to do with my ruler. There we go. Okay. So now we're on to April, which April starts on a Sunday. I think if I hadn't moved to a new journal that had completely different dot placement, I might have just photocopied this and moved it over, which I could have done. But I wanted to do it by hand this time. The Rhodillas and the Leuchtturms, I think they have the same number of dots. If I remember correctly, when I moved to the Rhodilla, I was really happy because I didn't have to really adjust the way that I do things very much. Okay, that's Tuesday. So just to be clear, I spend a little bit more time on my first journal of the year than I do on any kind of continuation journal. So if I run out of pages in the middle of the year and have to move to another journal, I'm probably not going to spend as much time setting up that journal as I do the others, because I'll just refer back to the earlier journal for things like annual goals and you know, any of my like annual planning. My future planning I'll move over just because I need to have that with me for scheduling purposes, but that's pretty much it. I don't often move a lot of like my, here are my goals for the new year pages. Okay, we're almost done here. Okay, 17, 18, 19. Okay, 30 in June, so we're good there. Let me see. Uh-oh, Amy lost video. Amy, try closing out and then coming back in. Like, try closing your Facebook and then come back in. You should be able to find it. So, did I miss any questions? Let's see. Okay. Okay, yeah. All right. I'm all caught up on questions. Okay, so for the very last row, we're almost done, guys. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again, because I don't have any of these weird long months like December that starts on a Saturday and, you know, is a long month. So, yeah, so I just need 6 more. So I'm going to skip 2 to give me room for my header, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is actually going to work out well because I think I'm going to have room for like a proper header at the top. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I mean, you don't really need a header on this type of page because you can look at it and tell what it is. You don't need a header to tell you that this is your year at a glance. You know, you're smart enough to figure that out. But it's kind of nice to have fun with the headers. That's sort of where all that artistry comes in. That's part of what makes this style of journaling so fun, is that you get to do that stuff, you know, and it's just some fun expression. Okay. So I'll finish these up. Ooh, I had too much coffee this morning. I'm shaking now. But I can't resist it. I can't resist the coffee. Okay. All right, now what? Let's see. I'm gonna let you guys help me come up with the color theme for this page, because I didn't really color my gratitude, my little gratitude doodle, because I sort of think I like the way it looks, black and white, and I think I'm just gonna leave it. But on this page, I want a little bit of color, so I'm gonna have to think about what colors. 21, 22, 23. Actually, this is probably one of my favorite pages to make, because even though it's a lot of little numbers and it ends up being a little bit on the tedious side, it's also sort of meditative, you know? You can just sit and watch the numbers appear on the page. It's kind of nice. I like that instant gratification that journaling gives. You know, you get to watch the ink lay down on the page. I like it. Okay. All right, and then February only has 28 days. Don't get carried away. I've done that in 2 journals now where I just kept numbering because I just couldn't help myself. Okay. Almost done. Okay, awesome. We're done with the numbering. So now we've got all of our monthly dates created, and that part's done. And so now I want to create a little bit of a header for each month. I really liked the way that this one looked. I think in some of my other ones, let's see, in this one, I did sort of this typewriter font, which I use this lettering style a lot. I really like this. Here, let me move it closer so you can see. I really like the way that this looks, and I use this typewriter font quite a bit. But hey, Jeanette. Okay, the pen I'm using is a Tombow Mono drawing pen. This is a number 3. I have a number 5 somewhere too, and I think I don't know what I did with it, but I like the number 5 as well. So the number 3 is probably my favorite just for everyday writing, and the number 5 is nice for making headers. But I've been really happy with this pen. I just got it, and I think I'm gonna order another pack because it just writes really smooth, and the ink is really dark. I'm really happy with it. Okay, so I think I sort of switched things up here, and I'm not gonna use the typewriter font today because it's a lot harder to get color, to make them hollow and actually get color inside of them. So I think I'm gonna go ahead with this one. I could use some kind of a cursive, but I used a cursive little kind of loopy hand lettering style over here. So rather than try to create a cursive here that's just gonna clash, I'm gonna go ahead and just make it kind of this boxy, hollow lettering style, which is really easy to do. And if you're not into the hand lettering thing yet, don't worry, you don't have to. So Amy, I'm using a number, it just says number 3. I don't know if that's millimeters or not, or like 0.03. I'm guessing that's what it is. I'm guessing it's 0.03 millimeters. Let's go with that. I don't know if that's right, but let's just go with it. Let's pretend that's exactly what it is. Good job, Megan. You knew all the answers today. Okay, so yeah, this one's really easy. And now remember, when I created these, I had 3 spaces to give. And this time I'm working with only 2 because I'm shrinking it down to create a little bit of room for a header. So I'm gonna have to be careful as I do these that I don't get carried away. So these are really, really easy letters to make. That's probably one of my favorite parts about this particular style. Super, super easy. And there we go. Done. So you basically just want to thicken any time that your pen's gonna be moving downward to create the letter. You'll want to thicken it. I didn't thicken, like there's some exceptions to that, I guess. Like my Y's, for some reason I didn't thicken those last time. Maybe I'll do that this time. I'll thicken those this time. But yeah, just kind of play around with it and until it looks the way that you want it to look. And you can center off your Wednesdays or Thursdays if you did a Monday start to your month. Okay, and there's my February. Trying to be careful that I don't take up too much space. Okay, my March. I am gonna thicken this side of my M as well. I didn't do that last time, but seems like fun. And I sort of like it when the letters look kind of wonky and silly. It's almost like a Mad Hatter Tea Party. So that's kind of what I'm just not fussing too much about them. I'm not gonna outline these in pencil first, that's for sure. I'm just gonna kind of have fun with it. And then I'm gonna color these at the end. Hi, buddy. Hi, how are you? Yeah? You wanna watch? This is my son, he's here with me. I know you guys can't see him, but I kind of do that on purpose. I'm really particular about my kids being on the internet. So, sorry if that disappoints you, but, you know, gotta keep them safe, I guess. All right, and I'm gonna put little feet on my M's. Hey, buddy. Here. Can you go play with your puzzle, honey? No? No, don't knock it over. Don't knock it over. I'm talking to the people in the computer. Here, can you go play with your puzzle?
No.
Please, honey?
Stop.
Okay. Sorry, guys. This is This is running a blog with kids at home. This is just what it looks like. All right, I'm almost done with June here. Okay, there's June. I've got July. Oh, yep. Honey. Honey. Oh my gosh. Epic. Epic. No, buddy, that was not fun. I'm sorry, you guys. It just had to happen. Just had to. I know, right? Toddlers. Oh my gosh. I love him, but that kid's, some days he's just the end of me. Okay, I'll get you guys set up here again. I'm gonna have to start wearing a helmet when I do this. He comes in here. Okay, gosh. Okay, we're almost done anyway, and then I can just color this and you guys get to see the final product and see kind of how it turned out. I'm sort of thinking that like a nice hot pink would look good on this, because this journal has, it's a mint color, but it's got these little hot pink touches. So I think that would look kind of cool. I think I'm going to do that. I could do like a mint theme too, I guess, but okay. All right, I ran out of space for my little August here, so I'm just gonna kind of loop my G behind there so that it sort of tucks in, and that's all right. I just didn't have as much space to do these headers as I would have liked, but that's just how it goes. Okay, there's my E. Okay. October. November. And December. And so I'm kind of leaving a little space with my E's. When I make my E's, instead of connecting this part, when I loop around, I leave a little bit of space so that I can go back in and create an empty downstroke. Okay, and there's that. Okay, so I'm done with all of those, and I think I'm gonna fill them in with a nice hot pink. So I've got, these are Tombow Twin Tones. They came out with these not too long ago, and I really like them because they have, the colors are nice. This one's from the Brights collection, but they have two different styles of tips on them. So they've got a thick one and a thin one. So this thin one's great for getting into details. It's a little bit finer on this side than, say, the Staedtler fine liners, which are also really popular. I'll show you guys what those look like. Those are like this. And for some reason, these are listed as the same width on the fine side, like they're advertised as the same, but I find the twin tones are slightly thinner, just barely, but it's enough that I notice it. So I'm going to use this hot pink, and I'm just going to leave the cap off both sides and color it in real fast for you guys so you can see what that looks like. You can use whatever color you want. You don't even have to color these. You can leave them open, but it's kind of a neat way to inject a little bit of color at the very beginning of your notebook. Just to kind of get you thinking creatively. It makes it a nice place. It's welcoming, you know. I mean, you come in here to your notebook and you've got all these tasks, you know. It's like you're telling you, get to work, get to work. So to me, it's nice having it be a pretty space, you know, a space that encourages rather than nagging. So, and I find that I can do that with color a lot easier. So, and again, I'm not worried about this being perfect. I'm just sort of having fun with it. Just a little creative play. Okay. I'll get my little G, a little colored ear there. Okay. And that's pretty much it. That's what it's gonna look like. And then I think I'm gonna do, for the header, since I can't really do a big header, I don't have a lot of space to do a tall header, I'm gonna do a wide one instead. And what I'll do, now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm going to spell out 2018. That's what I'm gonna do. So, 2018. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not gonna worry about about centering it too much, just because I think it's gonna work out. Okay, and then I'll do 18 right here. I always have to slow down when I'm doing this and double check my spelling, because for some reason spelling in slow motion like this is actually really hard. Okay. Okay, 2018. That looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah? Good? Amy says her, oh, what is the color? No, it's not watercolor, Amy. This is just, it's just a wet marker. That's all it is. It's just a planning pen that Tombow just came out with. They came out with all these colors too. So these are both packs. They come in pastel and they come in brights. So it's not really a watercolor. It's just a really wet marker. So it lays down a lot of color really fast. And this is the first time I'm going to be able to see how this paper performs, and I don't have any bleed through, and I have very light ghosting. So far I'm pretty happy with that. I think this paper's going to hold up for me. I really like the texture of it too. It feels nice. It's not as smooth maybe as the Rhodia paper. Rhodia paper is almost glossy. It's so smooth, which is great if you write a lot with fountain pens, because fountain pens just have a tendency to bleed through porous paper. But it also means that the ink floats a little bit on top. So I find that, like, if you're left-handed, a lot of people don't like the Rhodia paper as much because it's so glossy that they have to wait for their ink to dry before they can finish writing. Right-handed people don't really have that problem, but I have heard that complaint from lefties. So, okay. But this Scribbles That Matter paper that I'm working on right now is a little bit more porous, and so it doesn't seem to be bleeding through, which is great. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's my my 2018 page at a glance, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, considering that we did it sort of fast, and I didn't really pay too close of attention to it, but I think it looks nice, and I'm happy. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me move this back around so I can see you guys, or you can see me. I can't really see you guys, which I wish I could. It would make this a lot less awkward, I think. I'd do better actually seeing you guys in person. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. So tomorrow when we come back, I'm going to do the birthdays and holidays page, and I'll show you how I organize that. I've gone through 3 different versions of that page, and I've finally landed on one that I'm pretty happy with. So I'm gonna kind of do that one again, and I'll fill that in and kind of show you guys how I do that. And then from there, we'll move into the future planning pages that I make. So, and how that works for me. So if you guys have any questions, make sure that you either drop me a comment or you can send me an email at megan@pageflutter.com. You can check out I have a whole bunch of resources on the blog on pageflutter.com. I have a whole bunch of resources that you guys can check out there. So otherwise, I won't see you guys over the weekend, but I'll see you back here on Monday at 10:30 U.S. Central Time. So depending on what time zone you're in, it may be at a different time, but I'll be back on Monday to finish this up with you guys. And I promise I will hold off on prepping this journal. It's hard. I really want to get started on it, but I'm going to hold off and I'm going to do that with you guys. So that's it. If you have any questions, make sure you shoot them my way. Invite your friends to come to this. Share, like, all that good stuff. But other than that, I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, I'm sorry, Amy, the brand of journal that I'm using, the one that I'm using is Scribbles That Matter. It's listed on Amazon. That's the one I'm using this year. It's the first year I've used it, so I can't make any guarantees about how it holds up over time. But that's this mint guy right here, and it's got like these hot pink touches to it. And then for some reason, I guess this is the pro version. Somebody double check that for me. I think this is the pro version because they had another version that had like these doodle things all over the cover. And then they came out with this one, which is a little bit less stylized. I think because people were complaining the other ones looked a little silly when they were bringing them to work. This is a lot more subdued, and it comes in different colors too. I picked a really bright, obnoxious color, but yeah, I'm okay. My son is calling me, so I will see you guys back here on Monday. All right, bye-bye.